Latest jobs report is fueling more fears that a big interest rate hike is likely as the Federal Reserve tries to aggressively fight inflation. The Labor Department said Friday U.S. businesses added 263,000 jobs last month. The nation's unemployment rate dropped from 3.7% in August to 3.5% last month. That matches the lowest level in the last half century. But the jobs report sent stocks tumbling Friday. The Dow lost more than 2%, the S&P slid nearly 3%, and the Nasdaq fell almost 4%. Jill Schlesinger has the breakdown. Jill, good morning. What can you tell us? The September jobs report, was it unexpected? Was it a surprise? And what does it mean for the overall U.S. economy?
The report itself came in pretty much as expected. We thought analysts said about 250,000 jobs. They weren't so sure about the unemployment rate. It moves a lot based on the size of the labor force. But I think there's something really important about this report. It does show that job growth is decelerating. And that is not a red flashing signal that a recession is coming. But we know that job creation last year was averaging more than 500,000 jobs a month. This year, we're at 400,000 or so a month. And now we're at 263. So you can see slowly kind of coming down. Now, that said, there are some warning signs. I would call them little yellow flashing signs about what's going on in the jobs market.
Not the full red stop sign yet, but we may be getting, which means, by the way, with all of this, that workers who had leverage, quite a bit of leverage for quite a while, may have less now.
Right. But I mean, it's really something interesting about that slowdown, because we had another report earlier in the week, and it's through August, and it's about job openings. Job openings fell by 1.1 million in August from July. That is the biggest single month since the pandemic. So you're right. In some respects, workers are seeing a little bit of a shift. Depends on your industry, depends on your sector. But think about it this way. There's still 1.7 workers for every open job. So it's still a tight labor market, and a lot of industries can't find workers. But if you're in a consolidating industry or you work for a company that's going through a hard time, don't be surprised. We've heard about big layoffs or freezing of hiring at Amazon and Walmart and the like, and those are large employers.
Michelle mentioned the overall economy. There's still a couple meetings for the Federal Reserve, and it's the one thing people also want to know right now, interest rates. As we've seen them go up, what are we going to see the rest of the year?
We've got two meetings, one in November, one in December. I think this report, along with next week's inflation report, are going to keep the Fed on track. I think we'll get another 0.75% increase in November. Maybe a half a point in December, but it is predicated on the data. That's what Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, has always said. If inflation doesn't come down, we are going to keep pushing the brake. Remember, here's the critical issue. The Fed's got two jobs. They want an economy that's strong enough to have a labor market that's robust, but they've got to control prices.
Right.
And right now, they're failing to control prices. Inflation is still accelerating in many sectors.
If the recession hits, what can people do to prepare?
Well, I think that when you think about all the different things that could go wrong in your life, what can you take control of? I think a lot of people have spent down a lot of their savings from the COVID era. I think rebuilding your emergency reserve fund. You want 6 to 12 months of your living expenses in a safe place. I know that's hard. If you're retired, I would go 1 to 2 years. You want to try to pay down credit card debt or other high interest loans. And I would be clear. If I'm a worker, again, we talked about leverage. I think you really have to be careful not to just move into a new job for money. And the reason is that often if you just go for, say, 50 cents more an hour, when a downturn occurs, often the last person into an organization is the first one out. So just be careful.
Lose the
Careful.
security.
And the market, get your act together, please.
I can't handle that. Sorry, Jeff.
I know you can't.
You put it so simply.
Jill,
Just get your act together.
Thank you very much.